blazed upon Egypt, its golden light reflecting off towering palaces, marble pillars, and colossal statues of pharaohs. Along the banks of the Nile, lush gardens bloomed, and ships carried treasure down the river. But in the shadow of this splendor, Hebrew slaves groaned under the crack of whips. Their backs bent beneath heavy stones as they built monuments for the glory of kings. Sweat streamed down their faces, blood mingled with dust, and still they whispered prayers to the God of their fathers, crying for deliverance. In secret, Hebrew mothers hid their infant sons. Pharaoh had commanded that every Hebrew boy be thrown into the Nile. One desperate mother placed her child into a basket of reeds, sealing it with pitch. The basket drifted down the river among lilies and reeds until Pharaoh's daughter found it. With wonder in her eyes, she lifted the baby from the water. His cries echoed against the palace walls, and she named him Moses. Raised as a prince in Egypt's shining courts, Moses wore silks, learned the art of war, and feasted among golden halls. Yet his heart never forgot the cries of his people. One day, Moses saw an Egyptian soldier striking a Hebrew slave with cruel fury. Anger surged, and Moses struck the soldier dead. Fearful of Pharaoh's wrath, he fled into the desert. Alone beneath endless skies, he wandered through shifting sands and scorching winds until he reached the land of Midian. There he found peace, tending sheep for Jethro, marrying his daughter Zipporah, and living far from Egypt's cruelty. But one night on Mount Sinai, the wilderness blazed with an unearthly fire. A bush burned, yet was not consumed. Trembling, Moses removed his sandals as a voice thundered, "I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have seen the suffering of my people. Go, Moses, lead them out of Egypt." Moses fell to his knees, fearful and unworthy, yet God placed power into his hand through a shepherd's staff. With courage lit like fire in his heart, Moses set his face toward Egypt. In Pharaoh's throne hall, columns of gold stretched to the heavens, guarded by soldiers in bronze and crimson. Pharaoh, seated on a throne of lions, looked down at the shepherd before him. Moses lifted his staff and declared, "Let my people go." Pharaoh laughed, his voice echoing in arrogance. The magicians of Egypt mocked as Moses cast down his staff, and it became a serpent before their eyes. Their staffs became snakes too, but Moses' serpent swallowed them whole. Still, Pharaoh's heart hardened. Then the plagues began. The Nile turned to blood, its fish dying, its stench choking the city. Frogs leapt into chambers of marble, croaking in the queen's bed. Dust rose as gnats swarmed like smoke, biting both man and beast. Locusts blackened the skies and devoured every green leaf. Thunder and hail mixed with fire rained down upon the land. Finally, darkness swallowed Egypt for 3 days, as if the sun itself had died. Yet Pharaoh would not yield. Then came the night of Passover. Hebrew families huddled inside their homes, painting lamb's blood upon their door frames. At midnight, silence fell. Then cries rose through Egypt as the angel of death swept over the land, striking down the firstborn in every Egyptian home. In terror and grief, Pharaoh summoned Moses. "Go, take your people and leave Egypt." By torchlight, a multitude of Hebrews gathered. Men, women, and children carried their belongings, their animals, their bread still unleavened. Their footsteps thundered across the sands as they marched out, free at last. But Pharaoh's pride rekindled, and he pursued them with chariots gleaming in the dawn. The earth shook as thousands of horses thundered, spears flashing like fire. At the edge of the Red Sea, fear gripped the people. Waves roared before them, the army thundered behind. But Moses raised his staff, and the wind howled like a mighty storm. The waters trembled, then rose into colossal walls, glittering like crystal under the moonlight. A path opened across the seabed. The people crossed, torches in hand, eyes wide with awe. Children reached out to touch the towering waves that glowed with reflected lightning. The Egyptians charged into the path, their wheels churning mud, their horns blaring. But when the last Israelite stepped onto the far shore, Moses lifted his hand. With a deafening crash, the waters roared back. Walls of sea collapsed upon Pharaoh's chariots, swallowing horses and men alike. Silence followed, broken only by the cheers of a free nation. On the shore, under the rising sun, the Hebrews lifted their voices. Miriam, sister of Moses, raised her tambourine, leading women in dance. Children leapt in joy, men embraced in tears. The desert stretched before them, vast, untamed, full of promise. On a high rock, Moses stood tall, his staff lifted toward heaven. Behind him, the sea still roared. Before him lay freedom and destiny. The journey had only begun.